CitizenCon is the biggest event of the Star Citizen year, and Star Citizen didn't have a CitizenCon in 2020, as a global pandemic got in the way, and I think we've all been keenly hoping that 2021 will be better pandemic-wise, and there appears to be potential for a CitizenCon 2021 in August. So I saw this posted up on Star Citizen Leaks. There is a listing for CitizenCon on the 7th of August in the Los Angeles Convention Center in California. Now, this is not a confirmation, but it was an interesting thing. I cannot confirm that this is 100% Cloud Imperium organised event, or if it's a mistake, or if it's fake, or if it's something that's currently in negotiation. However, it does look like we're getting out of lockdown this year, and a CitizenCon does make sense. And I had heard that they did want to have it earlier rather than later this year. It is possible that we could see two events in 2021 associated with CitizenCon, and where they normally have it as well on the 10th of October, maybe in a birthday event like they did last year. So you'd have a CitizenCon event potentially in August, and then a birthday event around the 10th of October. Yeah, that's pretty likely. However, it's more than likely that a birthday event would be entirely online though. So what could we expect from a CitizenCon event this year? Well, quite a lot, but please bear in mind that what we're going to talk about is not a confirmation of anything. Even if some of these predictions and expectations are accurate to Star Citizen's targets at this particular time, we happen to know that Cloud Imperium have been known to add, cut, or even change presentations and bits of CitizenCon literally the day before the event. However, we can talk about expectations and what has historically been done, along with what the current targets are. So there is a physical event with CitizenCon. For those at the event, Cloud Imperium do make stuff a little bit roleplay themed. So you see themed bars and stalls and actors and shops and food vendors. It's typically pretty cool as an experience. Expect Cloud Imperium to request orgs and appropriate businesses to apply to be part of the show. You see things like Game Glass and My Radar, and you'll see organisations like Test quite commonly, and just lots of other orgs and people around, all sort of like doing cool things. The Daemar Rally, you see GR Fabrication make a big old dragonfly that you can sit on, things like that. There is a stage where there are presentations, devs and fans walking around, and some cool things to see. And quite often now they like to have two stages on simultaneously with two different presentations. This should also be available online, both as a live stream, free, but also as a variety of videos that will be done after the event as well, that they're sort of section off into the correct areas, whether they be some sort of gameplay presentation, whether they be a presentation on X or Y. 2019 CitizenCon was an all-day broadcast and event, but I would expect a longer-lasting in-game event as well. It's very likely that Cloud Imperium will want to do that this year. So they always give away like a digital goodies pack, or at least sell one. These contain clothing, weapons, flair, and trophies and bits like that. Basically, anyone that's got a physical event ticket, they get one of those digital goodie packs for free, and you can purchase those digital goodie packs separately to help support the event, and historically they've been between $5 and $15. If they're good, then hopefully they'll be around $10. That seems fair, but when they go to $15, it's quite expensive and a bit like, come on. Expect to see some interviews with various devs, and Chris Roberts telling us about where we are in terms of a wider roadmap, plans for the future, and pillars of the game. This can be pretty informative, and along with a major gameplay demo, this can be a highlight of the whole event. This gives us a huge amount of indication of what their goals and plans are, and it's really nice just to have Chris Roberts talking about what's going on with his sort of like baby project that he loves. Presentations are a mainstay of CitizenCon, a selection of around hour-long questions and answers, slideshows, gameplay, demos, showing off of tools and the latest cool things, so new planetary tech, new gameplay, how things are going to work with the tech, tools, and plans for new features, all that sort of jazz, broken down. Almost certainly an updated Dynamic Universe Quantum Sim presentation, sort of like a much more in-depth one, looking at all the updates they've made to the Dynamic Universe simulation since CitizenCon 2019. Tony Zaruk mentioned that they were working on something to show potentially later this year, and I assume that's what he was referencing. We are likely going to see a presentation that talks about ships in concept. In 2019, they showed off the Rock and Talon, before they were called the Rock and the Talon, as well as a Xi'an cargo ship and a mobile refinery. Actually, some people have suggested that the Nomad might have been the Xi'an cargo ship that they sort of originally mentioned at 2019 CitizenCon, and it evolved into the Nomad, but maybe they're still working on a Xi'an cargo ship. It's likely we'll see work on random ideas for concept ships, as well as a ship sale. It makes sense that we will likely see a mix of straight-to-flyable ships and vehicles, but maybe some concepts too. Now, Cloud Imperium do like to have a big ship at these events sometimes, or at least a variant of a big ship, because financially, on their monetization model stuff, it sort of makes sense. They go, these are giant hype events where we can make a lot of money. Bam, let's release a couple of cool ships that we plan to get in the game in the future. It's historically what they like to do. I'd love to see Titan suits, but I suspect there's also a slew of other ships and vehicles that Cloud Imperium have in the works as well. An in-game event. We know that Cloud Imperium have 8 to 10 in-game events planned this year as part of their new dynamic missions. Expect lots of cool stuff to look at in-game if they do have one. Expo halls, ships on parade, that sort of thing. They'll probably want to potentially this time have something more tangible mission-wise, because obviously Star Citizen has advanced somewhat over the last few years, allowing them to do much more complex and interesting missions and events, but I would expect Cloud Imperium to start running CitizenCon in parallel with some form of live event in-game. New gameplay presentations. So this is the flagship content from CitizenCon for me. 2019 saw a Microtech, New Babbage mission, jump points, and pyro all sort of splodged into the game together. Some pretty cool gameplay there with the Carrack, and so yeah, they like to show new ships, and they'll want to be showing pyro or other new star systems, but also likely they'll show off some near future gameplay mixed in with some stuff that's a little bit further out, because they are able to build like a bespoke demo mission, and it doesn't have to be working on their online servers. They can very much have it working in like a LAN, in like a local area, so they can show off things like, and it's likely that they will try and show off salvage, damage control, sort of putting out fires, new Stanton locations and homesteads, maybe some partly completed capital ships, or ships that are coming like the Ares or the Hercules A2 and the Redeemer, physicalized components, salvage, bombs and mines, new EVA gameplay. They typically have some pretty impressive looking tech and surprises at these little gameplay presentations as well. They are able to build like these very bespoke missions that are more demo missions for these, and they will typically use all the parts of these in the future for other missions, but they are very often able to make something that looks very, very cool. Theatres of War. That's something that Cloud Imperium are going to want to prove has made progress. They ran a little LAN, a version of that at CitizenCon 2019, and if they run another one at CitizenCon 2021, well, that could solve a lot of network issues that I assume that the game has at the moment. It's very possible we might see this demoed and even playable at the actual CitizenCon event, but I would also expect to see a presentation on updates to that. Something I thought we were going to start to see in earnest in 2020 was Squadron 42 marketing campaign. Now, because we didn't have CitizenCon 2020, I think that maybe that was put on a little bit of a break. I would bet on a Squadron 42 marketing campaign starting as part of CitizenCon 2021 this year. It makes sense to me that they will want to start building hype. The problem is that Cloud Imperium are very tight-lipped about Squadron 42 Episode 1. We know it's not likely out before 2022, but that's about it. We do know, I suppose, that it's done when it's done, and they're not going to make any compromises on that. They are closing it out, and they do want to have some traditional advertising for the game. I am very interested in knowing what you think on that, though. Do you think that's a viable thing that they might do, or something that's dumb? No Squadron 42 yet. I hope that we get all of that and more for CitizenCon, and as we know more, we will cover it. I will consider travelling there myself. I am not a fan of travelling, but I suspect that I'll be a little bit better at it now that I've got Zin as well. She can sort of like, I go, Zin, make sure I get on the plane home. That's just, I get terrible anxiety about travelling, and going long distance from the UK to the US would be, That terrifies me. But if they do plan to have this event in August, then I suspect that they will announce it relatively soon. However, at the moment, it's quite possible it's a provisional booking based on whether the world is less locked down, and once they know more, like, is it viable to do it then, that's probably when they would tell us if they've got to have a CitizenCon earlier this year or later this year or whatever. But what do you think? Could we see CitizenCon 2021 in August and in Los Angeles this year? What do you think we could see at CitizenCon, and what do you hope to see? Are you planning on going to CitizenCon yourself if possible? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and February is no different. This month is for a Mercury Star Runner. It's a multi-role ship, but also a solid data and cargo runner, and flyable now in-game. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during a month. Details below. I'm also a massive shill for NordVPN. If you are looking for a VPN service, and you should, then NordVPN acts as a fleet of ships protecting your data from prying eyes while also providing privacy, like a ship would. Enjoy the interwebs without borders, securely and safely. Use the links below for discount. I can't promise it will make your life better, but I can imply that. Also, there is Game Glass. Do you have a touchscreen device that you want to use as a diegetic controller or interactive panel for Star Citizen and other games? Check out Game Glass. It's free for life for the basic version, and you can buy additional shards or functionality or subscribe for more as well. A special thank you for everyone that goes the extra mile to become a channel member or Patreon, as well as just liking, subscribing, or sharing these videos. If you would like to further support the channel, then please consider using the YouTube join button below my videos and becoming a BoredGamer channel member. You'll get some exclusive content each month, as well as badges that appear in the comments section of videos and emotes that you can use and all that sort of jazz. Thank you so much for checking out my content. You take care, and I hope to see you in the verse.